Yellow? Yeah? No. I didn't watch the Cloud9 Energy match. I mean, I just don't think my stomach could handle watching C9 get stomped yet another week. Uh-huh. Yeah? Wait. What? Cloud9. One? You're serious. Man, it must have been one hell of a close match then. What? Yeah, huh? What? Cloud9 swept NRG? And yeah, that's pretty much how I felt after this doubleheader Monday. Oh my god. Some of the things that happened just are unbelievable. I mean, literally, like, if someone told me the results of some of these matches, I would have laughed in their face. God, I don't even know where to begin. Well, let's begin with the first NA match. I know that EU actually happened first, but no. We're going to start with NA just like we normally do, not to throw anyone off. Yeah, wow. Man, I can't wait to talk about some of this stuff. So yeah, as always, if you guys do enjoy, hit subscribe. I cover everything RLCS, and today we're going to go in an in-depth analysis into the Week 6 doubleheader matches, just who won, who lost, how some teams might have won, and upsets, and it's a lot. It's a lot of good stuff. All right, let's get right into it. So Flight versus SSG. All right, so game one. What's there really to say about that one? I mean, it's Space Station Gaming. They just are a better team than Flight. We saw Memory on Saturday perform extremely well, the best we've ever seen him play in RLCS. He unfortunately wasn't playing at the same level he did. He wasn't popping off. It wasn't helping Flight out a lot. And I always said that that's one of Flight's biggest problems. That it seems that Seabass and Rapid got some good chemistry together, but they need to incorporate Memory in that chemistry. I just think that he hasn't quite found his spot. He looked like he really did have it on Saturday, but yeah, no. Looks like they lost it again, and it's something that they really need to work on. And because they've shown that they do have the ability to take on some of these teams. I don't know about beating SSG, but they can take on those middle of the tier teams. But yeah, SSG get the win, no surprise there. Sonics versus United. Again, Sonics, man. They just don't disappoint. They're so incredibly consistent. I think out of all the RLCS teams, Sonics has performed the most consistently out of any team. Except maybe FC Barcelona. You can make a case. I think FC Barcelona and Sonics have never once had a bad week this season. I mean, they've all just played so well. Both teams, anytime one of those teams is having a match, you know they're going to perform at their peak potential. Always. That's just how it is. Shock has played lights out every game, and that's why they're able to take the win. I mean, Dapper was hitting some insane passes. Shock, I mean, he just scores everything. I mean, it's crazy to think about. The pros put Sonics at 10th place overall, and now they're in 2nd place right behind G2. I mean, can you believe that? How do people put them at... How did they put them at 10th place? What were they thinking? I mean, I would understand if maybe they played bad at first, but then now that we've had an entire month in the league play, it's enough time for teams to, fix things, get a little better. So, maybe if Sonics were just starting to perform really well, then it would make sense because they've had enough time to just practice and improve. But man, good game. And then G2 versus Ghost Gaming. You hate to see it. G2 suffer their first loss in league play. Now, I think it definitely was one of G2's shakiest games they've played. I think that the problem was pretty much with all of G2. I think that they just weren't... They didn't have that same cohesion that we're used to them having. It was a lot of the goals that were scored were just them either overextending or being completely caught out of rotation. And, it was just a lot of like open nets, a lot, when you watch a G2 game, when G2 plays bad, it's like the craziest thing you ever seen because it looks like, it's just like, well, how did that ball go in? Like, but that's just their play style. It's that they're either all on and they dominate, or if one person's off, then everything just falls apart completely. But yeah, I mean, Ghost Gaming played very well, and I don't think G2 played bad. I think it's the fact that they were a little. I think it's the fact that if one player's off, they look worse than they actually are. Well, I mean, I guess when you put it like that, they are what they are. So if they're bad, if they're not playing well, they're not playing well. But, you know, yeah, so the real question is, did this happen because G2 was just off that day? Or was it because Ghost Gaming was really able to break down that G2 offense? And when G2 is put up against a team that has a good offense, like Ghost, maybe NRG, SSG, is G2 able to hold up? You know, because it's easy against the lower tier teams when you're playing teams that never put you on defense, right? But if a team puts you on defense and you crumble like that, you know, so only time will tell. I don't think G2 is going to lose out the rest of the season, but I mean, it's possible. But I mean, I don't think it's going to happen. I think G2 is a good team. I think that they have potential to beat, at, let's say, NRG, SSG, Sonics. Like I said, potential. I think that all these teams, after this weekend, you don't know what's going to happen. And I still would put G2 in the top 2 for North America right now, just because I want to see another game, right? I want to see one more game from G2 before I completely put them out, right? I mean, it's so hard. That's what sucks about G2 playing all the top tier teams last. It's like, well, you know, you watch some other teams play and you think, wow, they're the best team in North America, but they haven't played G2, or this team might have lost to this team, but that doesn't exactly mean that they're at this level, because, you know, teams do lose. I mean, that's just part of the game. Teams do lose. You're not going to go 9-0. I mean, it's just not going to happen. It could, but it's probably not. I mean, because all these teams are really good. That brings me into this next match. Rogue versus PK. Rogue, finally. I mean, I've said it all season long. Tell me I haven't said this. I've said it all season long. If there's one team that has the potential to upset, it's Rogue. Because Rogue they looked like they just hadn't figured anything out. It's not that they look like they were bad. They just look like they hadn't figured it out. And once they figured out their issues with Wonder and with getting First Killer involved and having him be like the one who makes the plays and following him up, then you're gonna play so well. And oh my God, they showed everyone that they can be a dominant team. I mean, they were forcing so many mistakes out of PK. From looking at it, here's my take on it. When you watch the PK Rogue game, it looks like, I mean, PK were triple committing on defense. They looked very shaky, especially on the defense, because Rogue was just dominating the pitch. And you think that it's PK's fault for not being able to defend correctly, which it partly is. Definitely some communication errors, but when you apply that much pressure to a team and put them in that like awkward of a situation, I mean, a defense is just gonna crumble. We've seen it from G2. We've seen it from PK now, and I mean that's just how it is. I really give credit to Rogue's offensive pressure for forcing these mistakes out of PK. I mean, they really did look like forced mistakes, and I can't give them enough credit. Now, I will say they were very close and low-scoring games. I mean, there weren't blowouts by any means. I mean, I think it was just a problem with, again, AJ did not do a lot, and Rlcs was trying to carry again, do everything for the team, and he just couldn't. Again, just not looking like a good roster move, and it just shows. AJ leaves Rogue for PK, and then Rogue beats PK. I mean, what a great storyline. I love it. But yeah, congrats to Rogue. How did Wonder play? Wonder played fine. Wonder played great, actually. Really, really pleased with how he played. If Wonder keeps playing like that, I mean, Rogue is easily a top 6 team. If they keep playing like that, I mean, easily. And now, oh my God, this match. I kind of spoiled it at the beginning because how do I not mention this right off the bat? Cloud9 swept NRG. What the fuck? What the fuck? How? What do you mean they swept NRG? What do you mean? What the fuck? What more is there even to say about this match? Cloud9 plays bad all season. Okay, here's what I think. Cloud9 plays bad all season on purpose so that they can come out and spank NRG on the doubleheader week. How does that sound? Let's talk about both these teams. Cloud9, they did look like a great team. This is the best game that they've played all league play, so I don't want to take anything away from that. However, I think that if NRG was playing well like they normally were, then I don't think Cloud9 would have won. I think it really comes down to Cloud9 playing very well for their standards and NRG playing very poorly for their standards. Turbo looked very shaky. I think Justin, his mechanics weren't on, so Justin's a very ball chasey player. I think if Justin isn't performing well mechanically, he needs to take a step back, find a different spot in the rotation, maybe play a little smarter. But he keeps trying to go for these mechanical outplays. But if his mechanics aren't on that day, he's not going to be able to get the outplays. And I think that really hurts the team sometimes when he needs to change up his play style, take a step back. Garrett G wasn't doing anything. He even put it on Twitter. He tweeted out right after the game that he had a terrible performance, and he was very mad at himself. It was bad. I'll just say how it is. I don't want to be rude to him, but yeah, it was a bad performance. I don't think that NRG will continue to play like this. I think this was a one-off game. Like I said, same with G2, same with a lot of these teams. Like, you are just gonna have bad games, right? People originally were looking at the G2 and Ghost game to say, wow, G2 can't handle it at the top level. But then, NRG lost to C9. A lot of people think that in Rocket League, if you're the better team, you always will win. That's not it. Watch games like baseball. Watch sports like basketball, football. You know that in football, they have the rule of any given Sunday. And the rule states that any team has a chance to beat any other team on any day, because that's just how football is. Yes, theoretically, if everyone was playing at their max potential, then maybe a team would always beat maybe Team A would always beat Team B if they were always playing at their max potential. But unfortunately, people are just human. We're all human at the end of the day. We are gonna have bad days. We're all gonna make mistakes. We're not always gonna play at our max potential. All right, and I just want to get that out there for all these teams. I don't think that NRG and G2 are any. In my book, I don't have NRG or G2 any lower in the power rankings. I still do think that maybe SSG is better than NRG and maybe G2, and we're going to find out in these later weeks. But if you asked me to make a power rankings right now, I still would have G2 and NRG at pretty much the tippy top, right? I would still have Sonics in that third, or maybe even probably that fourth place spot right now, until I see for myself the matches happen. Because you suffer a loss in a match you should win, all right? It happens. And I just want everyone to get that through their head. I think that if G2 is playing at their max potential, I think if NRG is, they beat almost every other team in North America except maybe SSG and maybe Sonics. But like I said, we're going to figure that out. Yeah, so we talked a lot. I'll try to get through Europe a lot quicker, but Europe had some good matches too. Let's see if I could get through Europe in there were some bad matches in Europe, I think, so let's try to get through it in 6-7 minutes. So SNG versus Barcelona. Noli looked great. Noli, or Nolly, however you pronounce it. I think he looked fine. But he was really the only one who looked good on Singularity. Tho did look pretty good at times, but I think that the real problem was Godsmilla not being able to get involved at all. And then Flakes, Ronicky, Devo, every single one of them popping off, looking just like incredible players, like they always are. They all just looked so good. Flakes, I think, is the smartest player in all of Rocket League. Just he makes the smartest split-second decisions to benefit his team very well. This team is just so good with their passes and just their thought process. You can tell they put a lot of thought with each touch they put into the ball, and I think that's Barcelona's biggest strength and why they're so deadly, because of their ability to assess situations. And as well as the fact that Flakes is a mechanical god. That too. All right, Endpoint versus TSM. I originally thought this was going to be a very bad match, but like a very boring match, but it was good. Endpoint, they played very well. TSM played terrible. They played on their defensive half all the time. I know some people get triggered in the comments that all I ever say about TSM is they're terrible, but let me tell you, TSM's game plan: sit on our back goal line and do nothing all game, and watch goals go in. Endpoint scored 10 goals to TSM's 1 goal. Endpoint was the lowest rated team in Europe going into this season. And they put 10 goals on TSM to 1. TSM, if it wasn't for ASM actually being worse than you, you would be auto-relegated for sure. If TSM plays like this in the promotion tournament, which they are going to, TSM undoubtedly is going to the promotion tournament. they are not going to win any matches and they will be demoted. That's just because you cannot physically win a game if you don't take a shot on net. You cannot win games if you give up 2 kickoff goals at the beginning of every single game. Like, what are you guys doing? I can't. I'm just going to roast TSM more. TSM. Oh my god, you guys piss me off. Endpoint, Relating Wave had a really good game for Endpoint. Relating Wave popped off, probably the best game he had all season. Just wanted to throw that out there, give him some credit, because he deserves some credit for how well he played. And then Mousesports versus Veloce. Now, I was very disappointed from Veloce. Veloce played a very defensive, like we're used to them playing. They had those couple weeks of just pure offense and just pure domination, and we love to see Casio and Flame get involved. But yeah, unfortunately, they just could not get any offense going. I give credit to not them not trying to get offense going, but I think it has to do with I think Mouse is just able to dominate this team. They really had Veloce's number. I mean, Speed popped off. Speed had one of the best, I think the best game of his season so far. He was passing, he was striking, his defense was good. I mean, him and Scrubkilla opening the plays. Cookser, his shots were on point. I mean, every single member getting involved, doing great work. I mean, Mouse looked like they could beat almost any team the way they were playing. And then Reciprocity versus ASM. I mean, I mentioned TSM and Endpoint being 2 of the lowest rated teams in Europe, but man, ASM, the lowest rated team. ASM, the only team without a win. Reciprocity, it was close. It was very close. And I don't know why Reciprocity continue to have such close matches against teams that they should demolish. They won 3-1, so, you know. But, you know, I guess that's just how Rec plays. They play down to their opponents. They play up to their opponents. Just whatever their match is, they play their opponent's game, which I don't like to see teams do, but that, I guess, is how Rec is. But Shazette definitely looked a lot better. Fruity had some nice plays as well. Credit to them. I actually really like how Extra played on ASM. I think it was thanks to Extra that they actually won that one game. Extra was really looking like he was a one-man army. I mean, when you look at how his teammates were playing, Tigre, I don't think Tigre's had one good game all of RLCS league play. I think he's the most, in my opinion, the most disappointing player who... It was Memory before, but then Memory had that really good week, and so Memory now has some more points in my book. Tigre has not done anything. And then Vitality versus Dignitas. This was one of the greatest matches of Rocket League that I've seen. Back in the Season 8 World Championship, Day 3, the greatest Rocket League match to ever be played was Vitality versus Dignitas. It was a Game 5. It was intense. It was everything you could ever hope for from a Rocket League match. And that's what this match was. I have not enough good words to say about this match. If you are looking for one match to watch, it was the Vitality versus Dig match. One match to watch. You will be on the edge of your seat the whole way through. Dignitas take the first 2 games and Vitality with the reverse sweep. But Dignitas still played well through his other games, but it really had to do with Vitality changing up their playstyle game 3, figuring out how to shut down the Dignitas passing plays. Dignitas was so dominant with their passing plays. They controlled the midfield when it was the first 2 games. And Vitality really stepped up their speed, even their pre-jumps. Just some of the plays they were making were incredible. There's this one where Fairy Peak was up for the ball so insanely fast that if you was up 1 frame sooner, it would be called a pre-jump because it was just that close. Just insane stuff. Vitality really kicked up their speed of play to a new level like I've never seen. I loved watching that game. It's one of the few games of Rocket League I would actually go back and rewatch because it was so entertaining. You guys will love it. Go watch it. Go rewatch it. It was fucking awesome. That has been the recap of Week 6, or aka the doubleheader on Monday. Man, I enjoyed it. I had a good time watching these matches. I was hoping some teams would show up, and some teams who really did show up. I think it was the most fun to watch these because, you know, Cloud9, Rogue, the fall of Dignitas. Dignitas and G2 took their first loss. NRG lost to C9. Like, so many great things happen. I say great because as a viewer, you love to see these things happen, right? Like, you know, I don't want G2 to lose because I'm a G2 fan, but, you know, at the end of the day, it is what it is. I think G2 still have a good shot at first place. I think NRG do too. I mean, Sonics and SSG, they all have a shot at first place. All of them. None of them are out of it yet. So gonna be very interesting to see what happens. But yeah, that's everything that I have to say. Hit subscribe if you haven't for more of these, for more recaps of league play. I'll have predictions out as soon as I can. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys. Peace.